major cities all across Europe, but they're very well recorded in London, had places called molly houses. Now, a molly house was an inn, right, a bar, kind of a bar brothel. It would not have been so very different from, say, Cascades Bar in Nana Plaza in Bangkok. And you would go into this bar and there would be lots of men and lots of women, except the women weren't really women. They were girly boys, mollies, right? That is, young males, and often very young, dressed up to look like women, who were there to have sex with the male patrons. This is the molly houses of London, and there were many, many of them. There are dozens of tales and reports, and some of them were extremely famous. And some of the madams who ran these houses were equally extremely famous. London was full of girly boy prostitutes. That is, boys who, they looked like women, you know, and men would have sex with them. Yes, they were homosexual. The boys were homosexual, absolutely. Were the men homosexual? Well, how can you say that? They were there to have sex with women. So, you know, when you think about London and other European cities in the previous eras, don't think about the, you know, that straight-laced 19th century image. And by the way, the 19th century was nothing like as straight-laced as the Victorian historians would like you to believe. It was, you know, a particularly bawdy and promiscuous time. It's just that nobody was talking about it. The English habit of keeping everything quiet, you know, let's not talk about sex, was in full swing. They were still doing it just as much as they ever did. They just, you know, weren't telling anyone. But if you go before that, remarkable what was going on. In Edinburgh, Edinburgh was a famous den of sexual proclivities, particularly in the 17th century and into the 18th. The Scottish Enlightenment happened at this time. For some reason, you often find that you get a lot of intellectuals and a lot of randy buggers in the same place at the same time. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just that intellectuals are a bit randy. I don't know, need to work that one out. But there they had things like, they had wanking clubs, you know, so that men would get together, you know, have a few drinks and sit round a table and jack it off, you know, see who could squirt the biggest one. I am not joking. I know you think I'm making this up. I am not fucking making this up. And they used to have these things. In Scotland we call them quaiths, you know, the big bowls, cups. They used to put the ejaculate in this, you see. I don't know what they did with it after. I'll need to go and research that. And, you know, Edinburgh at the same time was famous for its prostitutes, who were, you know, legendary for their abilities in the business of making men come. There's a famous line from one of them who was a bit of a poetess, and she said, ride the Django till it spews, you know, advice to younger prostitutes coming into the business. And this is what you would have come across in these cities. These were do not go around thinking that these were sort of prim, proper, straight-laced, you know, how's your father holier than thou? They were absolute hotbeds of every single kind of, you know, of sex, basically. People go now, you know, they go to places like Pattaya in Thailand and they pretend to be shocked. You know, like, look at all this. I remember my aunt gave me, okay, never mind my aunt. However, she went to Bangkok, you know, my uncle took her to Thailand, you know. I don't think anybody told them about Thailand before they went, you know. I don't think, if you'd asked me, I would have said, listen, there's something you should know. Anyhow, she came back, she was shocked. She was absolutely shocked. She said to me, you know, that country is based on the sale of bodies. And I went, yeah, well, great, you know. And she was absolutely shocked by this, horrified. But the fact is, she comes from a place called Dundee in Scotland. If you went back 200 years in Dundee, it would have been exactly the same. It would have been just exactly like that. You know, coastal town, big port, wall-to-wall prostitutes. You buy anything you want, any sexual favour you want, you could have.